So let's end on a note about what it's like to cover China today. Paul, you were expelled from China in 2020, and so and the New York Times only has 2 people on the ground in China now. So what is the model that the Western media is going to have to employ to cover China? And I will ask Muyi that question as well.
So we have 2 reporters and several other staff. The model, I think, is constantly changing, and I think different reporters deal with being, far away from China in different ways. Some just spend more time on social media with their sources, although that's difficult because of obviously the surveillance. But it does feel like you have to get creative, and a lot of the data, the ways that we've gone to sort of dig into just data-driven projects. They give us a more kind of, sort of whole, large kind of view of what's going on within China and how things are changing, are a big part of that future. And, we've done it with these procurement documents, but we've also been doing it with other types of data. Some of the stories we've done have been based on Chinese police who just leave a database open that shows what their surveillance cameras are doing, or sensors. We did one that was based basically on hackers who took a large amount of data from within the Chinese censorship regime, and then gave it to us. So you have to basically find new ways to get the resources you need to report and dig into things, and you couldn't do it without the experience of being there, but not being there. You take the expertise you have and the knowledge you have, and you throw it at other things. And I think that's for us one of the major ways to kind of move the ball forward. At a moment like these protests, though, I will say, following something like the online kind of environment and that cat and mouse game we described over censorship and getting around it is easy, and you can do it remotely because you can look at Chinese social media and see what's happening and still talk to people about it. So there are ways around it, and there are ways that it's you can do it, but it does feel like a part of it that's incredibly interesting and also just really meaningful and satisfying to go follow that data on the ground and talk to regular people. I mean, it's one thing to see a camera's coordinates in a procurement document or on a database. It's another to go talk to the person who saw it put up, that to then follow that and say, hey, when did this go up? What happened? Did it grab was it used for a thief? Did it stop a protest? How do you feel about it personally now that it sits above your house? To regular people is a very important part of the job, and that's just no longer possible. So there are ways that you just can't get around the fact that that on the ground stuff we cannot do anymore. And I fear, especially with these protests, we're going to hit points where if things are locked down more and internet's cut off more, we may just have no idea what's going on, and that's the reality of not being there in a lot of cases.
I'm surprised that Chris Buckley is still in Sydney writing about things going on in China. And is her name Li Jian, the Hong Kong-based columnist for the New York Times? Is that her name?
Yeah, she's in Seoul. Li Yuan, yeah, she's in Seoul. So
the two of them are doing remarkably fine work. So from outside of China, so it's right. So surprising. Muyi, we give you the final word. What is your passion about? Why are you so passionate about the need for the outside world to understand what's going on inside China?
My passion for the outside world to understand China. To be very honest, I was kind of pushed in that position. I wasn't really trying my best. You were
pushed into that position?
Yes, because in the beginning of my career, I was reporting stories in Chinese for Chinese people inside China, and then that was my passion, and the space for Chinese people to do stuff for Chinese publication is increasingly get limited to the point that it is just so frustrating to work for Chinese publication in China. You cannot function properly as a reporter, and if you still want to at least do journalism at all, I guess going to foreign media outlet is the only choice. The environment that I often talk to my old colleagues working at Chinese publications, people are really depressed that people are leaving the industry there are really just like a handful of investigative journalists left. It's a very hard environment. So, I still want to continue my journalism career, and I found that Western media still, can provide the resources and have a very free freedom of press environment. So that's why I came here. And also, it helps with the current geopolitical environment. I think making more information available for public on all sides is good. It's a good public service. So I think that's what journalists should do.
If I were Xi Jinping, I would say you have been infected by Western propaganda, that you believe that the purpose of journalism is to reveal the truth, that you don't say the purpose of journalism is to reveal Communist Party doctrine. So that's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Trust me,
Any last comments? We're running out of time here. Quickly, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, I think that's it. I think as Muyi said, and this is sort of the main way to do this stuff. And it is amazing that what Muyi does from overseas, she couldn't do inside China anymore. And so this is kind of the contradiction of being a reporter dealing with China these days. And so, that's just kind of the reality of it. And it's sad, but we soldier on, and we keep trying to do this stuff. And it is really important when there are so few voices, and it's just so few people have the ability to do it, because they've been shut down. So I think it's just we'll continue to find ways, and a lot of that will be based on data and these other things. And it makes you a better journalist in general to have to kind of deal with so many obstacles. And it's always amazing to me when I go cover a different country or a different situation. Even Russia feels like kind of T-ball compared to China in terms of the ability of the Chinese government to sort of withhold information and scare people from talking and all the rest. And so it does feel like you're like in a weight room lifting. You're doing the hardest kind of journalism, and it does make you a better journalist as you go take those skills elsewhere. So.
We thank you for your role in all this. I mean, remarkable courage and savvy and commitment. Do you have any final words you'd like to say?
No, I mean, this is very, very honored to be here, and thank you for your kind words and inviting us. It's a privilege to be able to work for the New York Times and also work alongside with very, great colleagues like Paul and others. Yeah, so very glad that I can be in this position, and I have more privilege than a lot of other Chinese peers, Chinese journalists that have more restrictions. So I hope I can, take advantage of the resources and the privilege that I have and do the best I can.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much. This will all be recorded, and it has been recorded. It'll be on the OPC website. We'll be writing about it. So if you wish to forward this video, anyone wishes to forward the video, it'll be on the OPC website tomorrow or the next day. So thank you. Muyi and Paul, thank you so much. We had a great conversation, I think. Thank you.
Thank you.